Let's call this meeting to order of the USD 290 Board of Education.
Oh my gosh.
It seems though everybody's here. That's good. Let's begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We didn't get it wrong like the guy last night.
Yeah.
Hey,
So thank you. You've received the agenda in the mail. Is there anybody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the agenda. All those in favor raise a hand. Passes 7-0. Consent agenda. You got the information on the 21st Century Grant and declaring a surplus pickup. Anybody care to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor raise your right hand. 7-0. Anybody want to buy a pickup? No comments from the public, I take it. Security bank purchasing cards. I don't understand what that is. Security bank representatives will present information about purchasing cards.
Yes, we have Sherry Hansen from Arvest Bank, also Security Bank, to present on purchasing cards. Terry and Ed and Sherry and I met, a month or so ago, and so I asked Sherry to come do a presentation for us.
Good deal. And yeah, if you would stand at the...
Absolutely.
Do you want the PDF or do you want the PowerPoint first?
She wants the PowerPoint. Yeah.
The first slide.
All right.
Yeah, that's okay. And I'm assuming right advances.
Yep. All right. There we go.
There we go. Okay. My name is Sherry Hansen. I'm with Arvest Bank and Security Bank Card. Arvest Bank is a privately owned bank, for those of you who don't know, started in 1961. We cover 4 states, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas, and we have 16 markets. Security Bank Card is a division of Arvest. Arvest has several different divisions. We have our own mortgage area or an investment area, and Security Bank Card is the credit card division of Arvest. So I'm actually a Security Bank Card representative, but I also work for Arvest Bank. I work out of Oklahoma City. I specifically come to groups and work with our customers talking about our purchasing card program, which we'll go into in a minute. Security Bank Card, our service center is in Norman, Oklahoma. So those of you who are not OU fans, please don't hold that against us. Any K-State fans here? Yes. Congratulations. I was at the game a week ago.
I got lucky.
Bill, they didn't ask about KU, did they?
No, they didn't.
Well, that's coming up. Hopefully OU will do better on that one.
Oh yeah, they'll
But
be fine there.
the great thing about that is because we do offer local service when our customers do need to reach us. We offer service at the bank level. We've got Ed York here representing local Ottawa, and then we've got branches in in Ottawa and in the greater Kansas City area, and then I'm actually a representative that would work hand in hand, and we build a relationship with our customers and with our accounts. We're going to talk just a little bit about what a purchasing card is, and I'm going to spend a few moments talking about that, and then I'm going to open it up for any questions. As Dr. Stroh said, we met maybe about a month ago with Terry and talked about our program for a regional size bank. We offer purchasing cards, and basically a purchasing card is a Visa credit card. It works just like any other credit card does. The difference is that there's more online functionality, there's real-time information, a lot of reporting features, and ultimately our goal is to help streamline the accounting process and make things more efficient. You get one bill, you make one payment, it's easy to track spending, again in real-time information. We offer several features as far as online allocations, expense reporting, and ultimately we can drill down and code and allocate things by school, by department, and by specific purpose. The thing about that is we really work hand in hand with our partners, and we would consider you our partner to build the program the way you need it to be. Not every piece of the program fits every school district that we work with, so we really customize the features that work best for you and how that's going to work. You know, I know you guys currently have a purchasing card program, so I think the biggest question that Terry and Dr. Stroh had, you know, what's different, why change? We do offer online allocating, and we customize that, and we do the work behind that and the ongoing work with that. So if we were to set up the online allocations with, I think that's the direction we're gonna go. We go in and we build it for you. We train you guys, we show you, not you, them, how to use it. And everything, again, is in real time. So Terry would have the ability to log into the site, to change a card limit as she needs to look at a transaction as she needs to. There's a lot of flexibility with it. Everything, again, is in real-time information, and you have the ability to set controls on the purchases. So I know one of the concerns with schools is we may have someone that is in the maintenance area, and we want them to be able to purchase supplies for maintenance type related activities, but we don't want them to be able to go to Subway and buy a sandwich. We have the ability to set each card specific with the types of purchases that they can make, and then go in afterwards and actually see those and take the invoice, do some reporting, and build an easy way to then help the allocation process and help them reconcile the statement at the end of the cycle. You know, the worst thing in the world, I think, is to get a big, long statement and then have to either go and recode all of those transactions into another report, or to take a statement and I'm sure some of us have done this, actually write each line on there what the business expense was for. And we just really want to make that process a lot easier for you guys in the reconciliation process. And then rewards. You earn 1% back, cash back on all purchases. We actually pay our cash back on a monthly basis, so we look at monthly spend, and on a monthly basis, then we direct deposit that 1% cash back directly back into an account for the school, and that's very helpful. And then, of course, since it is a Visa card, it's covered under the Visa liability waiver, and you've got some recourse there as far as fraud is concerned, because we know in these days, you know, we all have heard about Home Depot, Target, a lot of the current fraudulent activity. Because we do have our own in-house department, we have our own in-house fraud department, loss prevention department, and they're constantly looking at that. And if they see anything that looks suspicious, then they're making phone calls and reaching out to our accounts to make sure that we catch that quickly. We've even had customers complain that we caught it too quickly, or we accidentally put a block on their card because it looked like something fraudulent. But I think especially for you guys, you'd rather be overcautious than undercautious. You know, when you make a change, really our philosophy is that service is essential. And with us, we truly do build it as a relationship and a partnership. We provide in-person training. We can provide training over WebEx. We've done that with some of our other customers. If they just need something real quick, maybe we're able to jump online and actually show them hands-on, either how to run a report or that type of thing. And then we work not only to train the trainer, but to train the card holders. So if we were to progress with this program, we actually wanted our card holders to log in, pull their own statement. All they would be able to do is see their own statement, and we would work with you guys to do the training, again, as you need it. We provide training material. We provide sample policy and procedure manuals. You know, it's really important when it comes to auditing features and the reports that you guys might need to satisfy the auditors. That's a big key. And we do it ongoing. So we don't just come in and say, hey, look, here's this great product. We actually do follow-up in-person calls, annual meetings to review the program and see if it's working the way that you need it to. And then I just included our contact information. Again, Ed is here locally. I'm out of Oklahoma City. It would be your next point of contact, but we do bring a team to you. Michelle Young and Brandon and Suzanne are all on our purchasing card team in the office out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. So I would leave it open for any questions you may have.
Is Brandon George related to you in any way? Oh, good.
He's not. Brandon's not here. I would pick on him and say, lucky you.
Yeah.
How many do you currently have? In, like, hundreds, thousands, 20s?
Just customers in general?
Right, that use this
We've got
card.
about 1,500 customers, and we've got all size customers. Olathe Public Schools is one of our largest accounts, and they are on our reference list, so I can mention them. And I believe Terry ran into someone from Olathe, and that's kind of how we started this conversation. You know, Olathe is a very large school district, and they are very robust with their program. They had another program, and again, I can share this information because they're more than happy to share it for us. What they were missing was someone that was really willing to work with them and establish that relationship with them. And when they looked to make a change, that's what they were looking for. And then we have smaller school districts that, you know, just have 10 cards, have a very small budget, and use the program very minimally. So we really run the gamut.
You guys offer assistance with setting up the limits?
Mhm.
Like,
Absolutely.
if we need that type of help? Or,
Yeah. Absolutely.
or if we do it wrong, can we change it more
Yes.
real time than?
Can I I work for a company that does use the Arvest purchase. In fact, I've got one in my pocket. And if it's incredibly easy to make adjustments for the limits, like we have a set limit, but if I have to go out and make a purchase that's above my limit, all I do is call our person and say, hey, I'm gonna go make this purchase, can you up my limit for this? And they go, okay, click, 2 minutes later, you can go do it.
What we see, you know, with schools, you might want to set like a single purchase limit because you don't want somebody, let's say they have a $1,500 card limit, you don't want them to go spend that single purchase amount without getting the proper approval and going through the proper, I don't know if you guys use purchase orders, but that proper procedure, then we can set a single limit on the card. Then if they have anything, say over, whatever that may be, I'm gonna throw out a number, $250, they would need to go through the proper channels to get it through, to get it approved. You have the ability to go in online, remove it, because you know that that single purchase is okay, and then come back and put that single purchase limit back on. So yes, it truly does have a lot of flexibility and protection for how your card holders spend.
Other questions? Questions for Terry? Well, bankers, I appreciate you coming tonight. We always, when we have highly esteemed guests like this, it always just brightens our day, and thank you so much.
Well, I will leave you with one parting word, go Royals.
Yeah, there you
Or
go.
Royal Blue, so that is a universal.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thank you, it's been exciting.
We're just glad that Bumgarner's not pitching tomorrow
Yes,
night.
and hopefully won't again.
Yeah,
Oh, he
Let's make it to 7 games and not see him again.
Yeah. Oh, he'll pitch 7.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Cobbs, ACT results?
Is that exciting or what?
That pop's not hurting our numbers, is it?
No.
Okay,
If anything, it makes it better.
all right.
All right, this is probably not the one that I want. There should have been a,
Gotcha. There's 3
Okay.
of them in there. Tell me to stop.
nope, no, that one. Okay, so our ACT scores, and I put up 9 years of data for you to go back and look on. You can see that last year was our lowest number of students tested, but it was also the smallest graduating class that we've had in a number of years. And that's going to rebound this year as we see a much higher graduating class. It'll be somewhere around 160 students. So I would imagine that we'll probably be looking at 110 or so of them have taken the ACT. I didn't look at numbers yet, but there's a great deal more, and we've had a number of them take the ACT in the last several months on Saturday mornings. But 78, that percentage in comparison to the others is really about the same. We've had about the same percentage of students take the ACT. 2013 was really an anomaly in the grand scheme of things with the number of students that did take it. And part of that is because we had a class that had a number of students that were wanting to go on to 4-year institutions, and subsequently the ACT was one of the ways that they needed to get there. One of the things that you can see is that our composite score, which is the combination of the English score, the science score, and the math score, altogether is the 3rd highest that it's been in that 9 years, 21.9. What the asterisk means there is that we're still underneath the state average. The state average was 22.0. So really, in essence, we were right at about the state average. One of the things that I would say against the state average is that of the 78 students that you take, if you remember what our free and reduced scores are, Us being at state average on the ACT with 50% free and reduced really means something different than I think being at the state average in a school that would have a very low SES number means to other schools. We are behind the Frontier League in the other school, or in the scores on composites, but not by a large margin. I think the highest composite score is like 23.4, something like that, and that's by Lewisburg. I think it's from Lewisburg, who once again was a blue ribbon school. Their socioeconomic status is very low, and the number of students that actually take the test is much lower than ours as well. So there's a lot of different things that you can put in there as far as the numbers are concerned. What the real value of this is that you see that our scores are continuing to increase. The area that we see a decrease is in English composition. And I think that the reason for that is because school-wide we have made a push towards reading across the curriculum and less of a push with writing across the curriculum. Writing has kind of become less important in what we do. You can see it from state assessments. The writing portion of the state assessment has gone away. It's all about reading. So we see some of those writing skills diminishing. However, we have done some things this year with the digital side of what we're doing to increase that rigor from a writing standpoint. The expectation of writing is different. Writing across the curriculum now includes the opportunity for all of our teachers, regardless of their background, to grade upon grammar. And utilizing a program called turnitin.com, every student that turns in an assignment has the grammar grades that go along with it. So hopefully as we begin this push towards more writing in our high school, we'll see that English composition score increase. You can see there that the math numbers increased quite a bit over the last 2 years, and we're close to the point where we're the highest that we've been since 2010 at 53%. We're currently at 49%, which is once again below state average, but quite a percentage above where we were at in the last few years. Our social science percentage has gone up, and what these percentages are, these are the percentages that meet the benchmark. And what the benchmark means is that at a certain score, and I made one typo on that. If you look at the science one, I think it says that the science benchmark is 13. It should actually be 23, so it's actually a pretty good score if you can meet the benchmark. It should be 23, not 13. But what the benchmarks state are that that percentage of students ought to be able to walk into the freshman level courses at college and do just fine, have a C or above on the freshman level courses that go along with that class. So maybe the most intriguing part of all of our ACT data is that you see that benchmark for meeting all 4 requirements and students going on to college and performing well at their introductory classes is the highest that it's been in 9 years. And I would imagine that if I had data from 2005, that it would be the highest that it's been in 10 years. We're above the state average on that. I think the state average is like 31%, so we're quite a ways above the state average. This has been the whole push for us. Everything that we've done over the course of the last 3 years is about college and career readiness. And so this shows that those pushes that we are making, you can look at and see a 14% gain in 2 years of the students coming out of Ottawa High School being prepared to be successful at the college level. And ultimately, that's what the ACT tells us. Any questions for me? This year, I'll just go ahead and say this. We are going to see, probably not this year, the year after this year, we will see a decline in ACT scores. And the reason that we'll see that is because every single junior will be required to take the ACT. So there won't be 78, there will be 166. And we know that in doing so, the overall scores are going to go down. The students that typically choose not to take the ACT are typically ones that really don't want to. And so our push will be to make sure that they're prepared, make sure that they try on that assessment, and make sure that our scores are reflective of what they're really capable of doing. I don't foresee a huge drop. I do believe that we will see a drop. I don't think that you can assess twice as many kids as we did last year and not see a drop in overall scores. But I just want everybody to be prepared that will most likely be coming. However, I do believe that the things that we've put in place will allow our students to be successful in this assessment. We're currently seeing ACT prep happening in a number of our classes in order to prepare our kids for this, as this will be the first year that we test all juniors on the ACT.
When is it you're doing the test on the juniors?
April 28th, I believe, is the date.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Cowboy, you there?
Here I am.
Ottawa High School final schedule? You want to address that?
Sure. Once again, this goes along with our push for college readiness. One of the things that we know over the past few years is that we either have classes that are not putting forth the amount of rigor that we really want them to, or we have classes that take multiple days to do finals, and subsequently we wind up with kids taking 3 and 4 finals in a day. The vast majority of our kids go on to a college setting, whether that's a technical school, whether that's a community college, or whether it's a 4-year institution. The vast majority of them wind up going there. And part of what they're going to need to learn to do there is be able to take that cumulative final. The other part of what we want to know is how much of the information that we're helping kids learn throughout the course of the year is actually being retained, and are we preparing them to be successful at that next level. So the idea of this is to ensure that that every student will be taking a cumulative final in every one of their classes. How that final looks will be different in some courses than in others, and our teachers will make some decisions about what works best for their class. But in order to do so, we really need to come up with a manner of which our students can take multiple hours to take the assessment, and we know that they're not going to have to face more than 2 assessments on any given day. So our teachers put together this schedule in which we felt like benefited the students the most, which would be starting off your day in period 1, meeting with the teacher that is going to be giving the final for that day. You have a 30-minute session with them to go over what that final is going to be, prepare, ask any questions, get ready to take it, take a little break before you come in, so we actually have a break period between the study portion and the actual assessment portion, and then you take an hour and 45-minute final. Come back, do the same thing for your second period, take the second test 30 minutes after that. The end of the day is 12:30. Which means students leave, which means that teachers have an opportunity to grade the finals and can provide instant feedback for our students, so they know how they did on the final. Grades get posted very efficiently, and students have the opportunity to go home and prepare themselves for the next day's final. So this would begin on Tuesday. Wednesday would look the same way. Wednesday is already an early release, so we're not losing any time by not having them in class on that day. Thursday would be periods 5 and 6. Friday would be a recovery time for anybody that happened to miss one of the tests. We know that we'll have some of those, as well as the final assessment for 7th period and release for the end of the semester.
What's a 45-45-10 referred to?
That is the actual percentages of how the grades are set up. So each quarter is worth 45% of the overall grade. The final would be worth 10% of the overall grade. So for instance, if you got 90% in your class the first 2 quarters, then overall you have a 90%, but that's only 90% of your grade, which means that if you wanted to get an A, you would still have to get a 90% on your final to achieve the A.
Okay.
So it does a couple of things for us. One, it really provides us the opportunity to start working with common assessments to have cumulative assessments in which teachers can go back and take a look at what have we really taught, what have we really learned, what do our students know were our gaps, as well as preparing students for the next step of their life if they go on to college, and really understanding what the stress is like in a final schedule at the collegiate level.
Questions, concerns?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's an action item. We need to.
We do need to make a motion on that, to accept that.
We do?
We do?
Approve, because it affects the calendar. for
So
high
moved.
school students.
I move that we accept the final schedule
As presented,
as presented.
all right. And second?
Second that.
Second. David and Linda, any further discussion? Does your guys' stomachs get sore just thinking about finals? I've been out, I don't know, decades, and mine still gets sore thinking about finals. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Passes, did you put 4?
No,
5-1, passes 5-1. Instructional programs, Dr. Stroh. It's good to know that we're still doing these.
This is the heart of what we do.
Programs or instruction?
Instructional programs, yes.
Instructional programs. This is really the heart of what we do, and it goes with board goal number 1, which is that we have a plan for curriculum instruction assessment that is continually measured, analyzed, and refocused. So last year, I spoke with you a little bit about Robert Marzano's instructional strategies. He's a researcher that did a great deal of research and meta-analysis of instructional strategies that teachers get the most bang for their buck. In other words, kids learn more when these strategies are used. So here are the 9 strategies, not necessarily in the order. Many of them are tied for having an effect size. So you will recognize many of these either as strategies that you use or strategies that you remember from school. So we have decided, half of last year and all of this year, that we will really focus on summarizing and note-taking, number 2, and number 6, cooperative learning, and number 7, setting objectives and providing feedback. Each of those 3 strategies we're really working on in every classroom. Teachers decide when and how to use those strategies, but we really want to focus on those this year and go deep, have a deep understanding of those 3 strategies. And then next year, through our Curriculum Advisory Council and so on, we'll select probably 2 more. And we will continually study these, excuse me, and implement them at a deeper level. In these strategies, teachers typically come out of college knowing how to do these. But it's always good to go back and to review and to practice and to talk with other professionals about ways that they use these strategies. So, in using those strategies, here are just some of our most important programs. English Language Arts, we use Journeys, and that is a research-based program. Our challenge really is to use each of our instructional programs with fidelity. It's awfully easy if you used a reading program or a math program in the past that really worked. It's awfully easy to use pieces or parts of one program and another and so on. But it's kind of like being on a diet. If you're on the Atkins diet and you're eating high protein, and you're on another diet and you're not supposed to have a lot of high protein, if you're on both of those at the same time, it doesn't do you much good. So what we try to do is be as faithful to our programs as we possibly can. In math, this is our first year with My Math at the elementary level. High school is looking at new math materials. What I can tell you, and Glencoe is what we have at the middle school level. That's going really well. It is aligned with My Math, which is our new program at the elementary level. What I can tell you about My Math is it's a very comprehensive program, and the first year of any program is difficult. There's been a lot of challenges in terms of when I talk to teachers, they say there's so much to get done, and that's typically what you hear in the first year. And so what I say is you know where your kids are, select what they need most right now. Then as we go through the year and as we go into next year, we add more and more of that. Each lesson is planned comprehensively, so not every class and not every group and not every kid needs every part of that particular lesson. In science curriculum, we're studying that this year. Social studies, we're revising the curriculum and we'll be looking at materials. In our fine arts program, we have many, many resources. That's one of our weak areas, is fine arts. We don't offer enough fine arts, particularly at the elementary level, for our kids. Physical education, we revised that curriculum last year, purchased new materials. They do lots of great things. At the high school level, they're very excited about the monitors that were purchased last year. Sometime, if you ever have a chance, talk to some of the PE teachers at the high school. Kids can watch and they can see from time to time how well they're doing, and they can monitor their own progress. So one of my favorite stories is the PE teachers at the high school tell me that athletes, when they come to PE, that's like easy class. I can do that, no big deal. So they don't typically work really hard, some of them, not all of them. And so with the monitors, you can tell who's working the hardest and who has made the most progress over a period of weeks, because it tracks the work that the kids have done. So it's not always the great athlete that has worked the hardest and made the most progress in PE. And that's been a great thing for some of our kids who don't necessarily do so well in PE in the past. So one of the other things that we're working on this year, no, we're not working on world languages. We're working on career technical education curriculum. That's a big deal for us this year. Adding new programs, adding clubs, and revising the curriculum. And then for technology, I know over the period of the last several months, as Dr. Cobbs and Mr. Bland have presented to you, much of what they've looked at in terms of digital citizenship and so on is part of the Common Sense curriculum, which is a great technology curriculum. So we have lots of groups that are collaborative that support instructional programs, and this is just a quick list of some of those groups. And we have, of course, we have ongoing challenges. Curriculum materials that match the Kansas College and Career Ready standards. Every year those get better and better, but they don't match exactly. The time on Wednesday's early release has been great last year. It is working pretty well this year. We are going to study it. I personally feel like we don't have enough instruction time. When I talk to teachers, they say, just give me back my kids. And so I'm going to work with staff in designing something for next year for our calendar that will be something like an early release Friday or something like that. It may look different at the elementary and middle school level than it looks at the high school. As you know, high school and middle school has more time because they don't have recesses that they have to count and so on. So that's what we'll be looking at next year. This year for next year. Adding behavior curriculum, that's our MTSS program, and self-regulation. Making sure that we fill in the gaps is a critical challenge, and then integrating the content areas along with our continuing work with MTS in math and reading.
Would you have walkthrough included for? What was that?
Walkthroughs. Several of our principals are working on a walkthrough that's based on the 9 strategies that you saw earlier. And so we're going to be piloting 2 different programs with the same strategies. There's a company in Overland Park called MereSoft, and they've developed a software program that will allow us to drop our walkthrough, what we want to see when we go into teachers' classrooms, into the program. And it'll have an app, and so principals or fellow teachers can go into a classroom and observe, and if they see, for example, cooperative learning groups, they click on that, and so on. So as we had Dr. Jacob from UMKC present to us, Dean said, I think I can do that. So he and Dr. Cobbs, Mr. Bland, are going to work together to see if they can come up with a program that works as well as Dr. Jacobs' program works. And then at the elementary middle school level, we're going to have the opportunity to pilot the MereSoft program. It's called I-Core for 60 days for free. So we kind of have a game on, don't we?
Is what it is.
It is what it is. So we'll see who's smarter.
Verify who's smart.
We'll verify who's smarter.
There you go.
What questions do you have about instructional programs?
Questions, comments?
Right, thank you.
5.05 board reports. Who has any?
Well, I've got one. I went to the college fair at the high school. Was that 2 weeks ago almost? And, you know, she had a list of, 60 or so colleges that said they'd be there. And it's on a circuit through some company. And there was about 45 that showed up. And 3 of the 5, the armed services showed up. And so the kids seemed very receptive. And talked with some of the college folks there, and they were impressed with how it was set up and the space they had. And so I think Ms. Myers has done a fantastic job over the last several months on some of the events that she's held. And so kudos to her and her friends that are helping her. So
I appreciate it. Thanks. Anybody else? All right. We sure miss Marge's reports. 6, moving on to 6, policy contract. Let's talk about that spyglass contract. You guys had all been given information on that at our last meeting. We have a summary in our notes. Is there questions, discussion about this?
I mentioned last meeting about that third item I couldn't find. It's right here.
What is it?
12 times any monthly service elimination and cost reduction savings. So that's 2 different items right there. And the third is cost recovery.
Oh, okay. And I like if we don't find anything, you pay nothing.
In other words, it's their incentive to find something.
Much like Medicare audits. They look to find something.
Let's not even go there.
All right.
So you need a motion?
I would appreciate a motion to approve the spyglass contract or to not approve the spyglass contract. Just a
So
motion.
moved.
Been moved by Susan. Second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by David, that we approve the spyglass audit summary as presented. Further discussion, questions? If
Do you predict that they're going to find significant problems?
Problems, no. Money, they're going to find avenues to recoup some money. They have a pretty good track record of doing so. Everyone I talked to that has used this company has had quite a bit of money come back. So it's what they specialize in doing, and that's how they make their money.
That's a good thing.
And again, they're giving us a list of things. It's all we're agreeing to right now is a list of items. We'll action on those individual items at a later date.
It's been moved and seconded we approve the spyglass contract. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Passes 7-0. Bright Links.
This is the new equipment that we want to pilot that may very well replace our smart boards. And what we want to do is purchase some and put some in each of our buildings. I think we're doing 3 at the high school. How many have
5 buildings, 2 in the high school,
2 in the high school,
2 in the middle school.
and 1 in each elementary?
Right.
Just to try them out to see if they work and so on.
I'd move to approve the purchase of the Bright Links equipment.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Bright Links projectors and bulbs. Is there any further discussion?
I had a question. Are they going to be, how easy is it going to be to transfer all the information that people have put onto their smart boards to the Bright Links?
Perfectly, it's click and done. The best thing about these, aside from the bulb replacement price, is that they are software agnostic, meaning they'll run the Promethean, they'll run the Smartboard, they'll run the Mimeo, which are the 3 big players in smartboard technology. All of their lesson plans, they'll open their software the same way, they'll click the button to present it on the Smartboard the same way, and they'll interact the same way. and that's a huge benefit for us moving forward. Promethean software costs quite a bit of money, but you can use an old version of Promethean, and it's perfectly acceptable by their standpoint. So we can use an older version with less features and still play Promethean project files, whatever they're called. I don't know of anyone in our district right now that uses Promethean, but anyone moving forward from a new district that comes in, gets a new job, brings their files and starts playing with them.
That's great.
Yep.
That's terrific. So how do they get the BrightLink board? Is it gonna be a lottery? Is it gonna be a fight?
Everything's a
Principals are
contest.
choosing, I think,
Gladiators.
Gladiators.
and they're going to pick a teacher that's going to champion the technology and show it off and brag about it, or not brag about it, whatever the case may be. Hopefully they'll brag about it.
Yeah, BrightLink's games.
Money's
Could be a
good, right,
fundraiser,
guys?
principals.
Yeah, money's good, right? Money talks.
It's been moved and seconded that we purchase the BrightLink projectors and bulbs. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Pose same sign. You know, I think it'd really be cool to have a demonstration of that once we get some purchases.
And they are going to be sitting around until break.
Okay,
So
that'd be
when they get here,
fun.
there'll be some free time.
Yeah, I think we should do that here.
That'll be fun.
I would appreciate a motion for a personnel executive session of maybe 15 minutes, if somebody would care to make that motion.
Mr. President, I move that we go into an executive session for non-elected personnel, and that the representing body return at 8 o'clock in this room. The exec session is required to protect the individual non-elected personnel's rights and privacy.
And is there a second?
Second.
All right, and inviting, well, first.
Should we
we'll
go
have-
in first?
Yeah, that's correct. We will. Motion and a second to go into executive session till 8 o'clock. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, 7-0. We'll be back shortly. We'll call for you
All right,
shortly.
thanks.
Mr. President, I move to go back into session.
Second. It's been moved and second. We return to open session at 8 o'clock. All those in favor, raise your hand. We are back in open session. Is there a motion for another executive session, perhaps?
Mr. President, I move that we go into executive session for non-elected personnel to protect the individual privacy of the individual.
Same as you said before.
Individual. We'll come back into the open session at 8:20. This is to go in to protect information on identifiable individual.
And to invite,
And invite Dr. Sher.
and is there a second? Second?
Second.
All those in favor, walk back to where we was.
Mr. President, I move that we go back into open session.
It's been moved, we return to open session, seconded by Linda. All those in favor, raise your hands and return to your seat.
Hello?
Passes 6-0, no, now 7-0.
Move to approve the
God bless you.
personnel report, Mr. President, if that's your pleasure.
That would be the next thing on the agenda, and so I'd appreciate
Second.
that motion.
Skippy.
Everybody had a personnel report. It's been moved and seconded that we approve it. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Passes 7-0. Announcements.
I do have a couple of announcements. The Chamber of Commerce quarterly breakfast is on, did you forget something?
No, never mind.
Is on Wednesday at 7:15. And our next DLR meeting is Wednesday, November 5th, from 11:45 to 1:30 here. And don't forget to vote. Early voting started last week, and November 4th is the big date. So,
Do you have any suggestions there?
Vote often.
Early enough.
Are they
Yeah, early
doing late
enough.
night or early
This is in
voting?
Chicago.
8:30 to 4:30 at the courthouse, and November 1st on Saturday, you can vote from 9 to 12.
At the courthouse?
Courthouse.
Okay, cool,
Hey,
thank
Jeannie?
you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody
I
going to
voted
the
early, so
CDC
it's very easy to do.
banquet?
Oh, I know, I have, but I
Thursday?
just couldn't
Yes, I am.
remember if there's
Okay.
after
Because I
hours.
normally go.
No after hours.
He ought to go too then.
Saturday should be off.
Yeah, that's totally helpful.
All right.
Did you already make a reservation? Do you need us to make a reservation?
No, I'll go talk to Jeff tomorrow.
Okay.
That's fine.
Any other announcements by anybody? If not, I'd appreciate a motion for adjournment.
So moved?
Second. Oh, 10
Moving
minutes.
second, we adjourn. All those in favor, raise your hand or walk out. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Walk out.
I guess I